Wild Wild Country is a documentary series about a cult in Eastern Oregon. Have you seen it? Hi, thanks for watching. So today I'm going to be talking about the documentary series on Netflix, Wild Wild Country. I'll give you my thoughts on it and also just give you my thoughts on documentary series in general. So the series came out a few weeks ago. I watched it as soon as it came out. It's been a couple weeks, but I wanted to give you my thoughts on it. I was hoping that over time I would have something more to say about it, but I just don't. So I don't think it had a long-lasting effect on me. So the series is on Netflix. It is a 6-part series, about an hour each episode, so 6 hours in total. And the documentary series is about a commune that was opened in 1981 through 1985 in Eastern Oregon for the Rajneeshis. Right? So the leader of this cult, I guess, was Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and he was later known as Osha. But this documentary centered around him and mainly his right-hand person, Sheila, who ran the compound. So overall, I mean, I watched the whole thing, so it did interest me, and I'm not going to give away anything. I think it's very interesting to learn about cults and why people join them, but this series has it all. I mean, it has some people from Hollywood joining it, lots of people internationally joining this. They bust in homeless people from all over the country so that they could take over the county in the local elections. There was a bioterror attack and all kinds of stuff. It was a very exciting series. If you want to check it out, I would say check it out. But I'm going to give my criticisms of this documentary series. But first off, I have to acknowledge that for the most parts, critics suck at whatever they criticize. I recognize that, right? Movie critics never make good movies. Music critics, they're never good musicians. People that criticize or write about stand-up comedy are never funny. So I understand that. So I'm not going to say that I could make a better documentary than this. But I'm going to give 3 improvements that would make this documentary series much, much better. The first is legible titles. You know, titles in movies, they let you know what's happening or what the location is or who someone is. Someone comes on screen, we don't know who they are, and there'll be a little title to let you know who it is. Or you go to a new location, and there'll be a little title that tells you what the location is. Oh, they went to Portland? There's a little thing that says Portland, Oregon in the corner. No big deal. The only thing that you can't have with your titles is titles that you can't read. This font is horrendous. I found myself pausing, reversing, rewinding, pausing, standing up, walking to the TV set. I don't have a big TV, it's 32 inches, but walking to the TV set, turning my head sideways, trying to read it, and I still couldn't often. This font is horrible. Fix the font. The second criticism I have is the soundtrack. Now, often we don't really pay attention to the soundtrack of a film, especially a documentary. It just sets the mood. But the soundtrack for this was ridiculous. It was just noise. Often there would be some orchestra or some pieces of the orchestra, like a violin, and it was playing like off notes, like they were flat and they just sounded wrong. And I get the idea was to make you feel uncomfortable, and it did make me feel uncomfortable. Often I found myself muting it. So if your soundtrack makes someone want to hit the mute button, you don't have a good soundtrack. And lastly, number 3 is after 6 hours of watching this documentary, I still have no idea what the beliefs were for the people in this cult. I have no idea what they were. I know that they did some meditation. I know that there may have been some sex involved, but I have no idea what their beliefs are. Well, I get it. In an hour-long program, you might not have time to get into all the details of that. But in 6 hours, you have 5 minutes that you can dedicate to explain to the viewer what the beliefs of all these people are. And I don't know what these people believe at all. and that could have been explained much, much better than it was. But believe me, if I wasn't enjoying the program, I would just turn it off. And I watched the whole thing, all 6 episodes, so I thought it was pretty good. And I recommend, to check it out if you'd like to. But if you're interested in this and you don't want to watch the whole 6 hours, OPB, or Oregon Public Broadcasting, which is part of PBS, did a documentary which is about an hour. I'll leave a link in the description about this that they made 6 years ago or so. And they did a really nice job with it. I watched that afterwards, and it did fill me in on a lot of the details that I didn't get from the documentary series. So have you watched Wild Wild Country? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. Peace. You can help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by clicking the like button and subscribing. Thanks.